And we're back. Long time no see. Alright, so now let's go ahead. Let's see if we can't put some of the stuff we learned into practice. And also, probably need to learn a whole bunch of other things that weren't covered. So let's close this project. Let's open up ClickShop. Alright, so let's click 2D. Alright, so let's go ahead. Alright, so let's just, I don't really have any graphics yet, so we're just going to make some almost certainly very, very ugly graphics, just to use as placeholders, because it's easy enough to swap out graphics, especially when you're using a visual, or like a, I don't know, a visual engine, I guess, is a good enough word, but something like Godot or Unity or Unreal where you can actually see things, because, like, if I make an image now and, it's a certain size and I position it, and then I have a new image, I may need to tweak the position, but, like, the code won't really need to change, which is nice. So it's really easy and probably a good idea to start with just really, whatever images you have handy or can mock up in, 10 seconds, just so you can focus on the code. And then you can get, you can either build them if you happen to have the artistic talent, or you can maybe partner with an artist or something to create some yourself. So I'm hoping to do the latter. But for now, we'll work on the code, because it's easier to find an artist interested when you're like, hey, look at this. I have a functioning game. It just needs pretty pictures to work, or to be nice. So we'll go ahead and we'll just mock out something. So let's skip the shop, because that means stuff. So let's start with the workshop. Because that'll really actually be where you start in the game, because you need to make something before you can sell something. So we'll go ahead and we'll just kind of create our first workstation. There we go. Words are hard. And this is literally going to be terrible. And I may come back here and make another attempt, but I want to focus on the code in the stream. So, just making kind of a work table. Alright, this is really bad. I definitely will come back and try to create something at least that looks like something. Alright, and then we'll have an anvil. Anvils are kind of in the shape. They have the one part, and then they have this. And then they have the other part, which I don't actually remember how much that side looks like, so we're going to pretend they look like that. And then they have a base, and look at that, super beautiful. I could release it today. Alright, we're going to rename this, and we'll use the assets export like we used on the space shooter. So I'm going to name this like a file name. So we'll name this blacksmith. And actually, I don't remember if you can do folders in here or not. So let's see if we can get this to go into a folder. Workstation / blacksmith.png. Okay. So, and how we're going to lay out our code is, let's go back to Godot. ClickShop. So we're gonna have a new folder. Or actually, how do I want to name this? So unfortunately, Photoshop has it hard coded that wherever you save your Photoshop file, it's always gonna have an assets. Put the saved assets into assets, which I'd like to have a folder called assets here and then save the Photoshop files in there. But it's also gonna then make another assets folder, which is a little weird, but we'll live with it. Let's go with it. Or actually, why don't we follow Godot's tutorial? We'll call it art. Okay, and so now I'm going to save this in here, and stop asking me about the cloud. I do not want the cloud. I hate the cloud. Alright, streaming code, Godot, ClickShop, art. Alright, we'll name this workstations.psd. Yep. Alright, and then we're going to go turn image assets on. So now when I save it, it should have made it. Let's see. Station assets. Oh yeah, I forgot. It actually does name it based on that too, which I don't love. But, oh, but the nested folder did work, so that's nice at least. Okay, we'll deal with it. Luckily, we won't have to really type this path much. We'll just have to go select it, so we can live with that. The nice thing about having the PSD files right in here is it makes it nice and easy to open it up. So, alright, so we'll go with that. So now, let's go into Godot. Alright, so now, so this is our screen. So let's make a, so this really, let's see. Let's think about this. So really, the whole game is just kind of a HUD in a sense because it's all clicking and stuff. Let's see. So we'll use the multi-scene thing like Godot did, I think, and I think we'll maybe make a workshop scene, which will be for the whole workshop, and then maybe a scene for each workstation, maybe. Let's try that. All right, so we'll go ahead. We'll make a canvas layer because that was what we did for the 2D. So we'll make a single workstation first. So this will be work. Yeah. Well, let's call it blacksmith workstation for now. I'm not sure. Well, it'd be nice if we could actually have just this called workstation and use the same workstation for each one. And let's go ahead. We'll build a second high quality workstation image. So let's make a new one. Let's see. What's another workstation we're doing? That is recognizable with this high quality level of graphics. Let's do a what do we have in there? We have a bowyer. Let's do a leatherworking station. So leatherworking station, we could have kind of the stretching rack where we stretch out the hide. Okay, and then that has little strings, and I'm not going to change my size. So little strings to pull it nice and flat as it dries. Okay, and then we'll just have a table, I guess. We'll just do like a work table. You don't really need a special table for leather working, just as long as it's big. I actually do a little leather working on occasion. It's kind of fun. I like making things, apparently. I do a lot of different kind of making things. Okay, so there we go. So that'll be our leather working station. Alright, we'll name it Workstations Leatherworking.png. Okay. Alright, so now we have two different workstations. We're going to try to see if we can't figure out how to make one workstation scene that we can then reuse. We'll go ahead and save that workstation scene. Let's go ahead. Oh, and just hit plus to make a new scene. That's nifty. Alright, so this will be our main. So this is going to be just like we did in the other. We'll have a generic, or actually we're going to have two levels of main. We're going to have a workshop that's kind of a main, and then we'll have the main, which literally puts all the stuff together. So this one will be workshop. Rename this workshop. Okay, and then we have just a straight up main one. Main. Okay. Now, alright, so let's go back to workstation then, and let's add a, let's see, so on the other one we did an animated sprite. Are we going to animate this one? That's actually a good question. I don't know if we're going to animate the workstation, or if we're going to, because we will have like eventually workers that actually do work, but I think those will be animated and then just put behind the workstation. So let's see, is there just a generic sprite? Yep, there we go. Non-animated sprite. And so this will be the I really love having the name duplicated, but it'll just be workstation for now. All right, and then actually, we probably can just drag one of these on and it'll create the thing for us. Oh, that's nifty. It tells us up there in the top left in yellow what it's going to do. But let's make it a child of this. Neat. Okay, but if we're going to reuse it, we want it named more generically. So we're going to name this just... I didn't name it Sprite, actually, because it's the workstation Sprite. Okay. So we just have that there. Okay, so let's see how reusable we can do this. So in the workshop, then, here's where we're going to put together multiple workshops. So I'm gonna, or workstations rather. So I'm gonna drag 2 workstations on here. Okay, so we have 2 of them. Let me move it. Can't I move that? I'm not able to move the stuff in a scene? I guess I can't. Okay. So that then won't work. So maybe we won't do a scene per workstation. So we'll get rid of that scene. We'll just have multiple things in the workshop. So we'll have blacksmith. We'll have leather worker. So it'll be off screen and we'll like hit a button to scroll between them. So we'll just kind of position them. And they're probably too big, but it's fine for now. Okay, and let's go ahead and we're going to turn on this child bit. Oh, it's turned on by default. Okay. All right, and then we're going to have, let's add a button. We have a couple different buttons. We'll just do a generic button though. We're going to have one button here. Copy my Control-C, Control-V does not copy-paste like I want. I want a duplicate button. Give me a duplicate button. All right. Paste. All right. So, and then, so we're going to have a right arrow. And we're going to have a left arrow. I'm going to move the left arrow over here. All right. And I don't want text on these, so I'm able to put a texture. I don't actually see a texture. These may be text-centric buttons, so I may need to find a different node. So let's see. Button. Oh, there we go. Texture button. Perfect. All right, so we'll add a texture button. Let's get rid of these. All right. Copy. Paste. All right. So let's go back to Photoshop, make some more high-quality graphics. Make a left arrow. Okay. Make a right. Whoops. Forgot to put these on separate layers, so I'll draw them and then I'll put them on separate layers. Left arrow. And of course, I could have just mirrored the arrows, but let's draw them. All right. Let's see. Let's grab this. Cut. New layer. Paste. Rename to, alright, so we'll put this in a UI arrows button, or arrows, or just UI, and we'll just call this right arrow.png. Hit V, drag it just so they're not stacked. Alright, now cut this, cut, oh, layer that they're on, cut, layer, paste, UI left arrow.png. That, move it. Alright, hit S, so that generates it. Alright. Now UI, and let's see, can I just drag it inside of it? No, that added it as a child, which I don't think is quite what we want. Alright, somewhere, canvas item, material maybe? Yeah, not material. Texture. Textures, there we go. Oh, nice. So it even has the thing to do different ones. So why don't we go ahead, we'll make a, just so we can play with it, we'll make a arrow right hover and an arrow right pressed. So, and we'll just make them so they change colors. So let's do blending option. We're going to do a color overlay. And let's eyedropper the original color, and then I'm going to switch to lab, and then I'm just going to darken it. That's, or let's see, so that's, actually we'll make that down. So hover, we'll make it glow. So instead of a color overlay, we'll do an outer glow. We'll do kind of the blue, switch to lab, make it lighter, lighter, lighter. Okay, that's good. All right, and then pressed, do blending options, color overlay, and this one we'll make darker. Okay, so eyedropper, the original color, darker, darker, darker. All right, there we go. And now we'll do the same with left arrow. So we'll have left arrow hover, left arrow pressed, pressed down here, we'll line them up, and let's hover, okay. Now I'm just gonna right click and copy the blending style, copy layered style, put this on left hover, and then copy this one, copy, and paste. There we go. Alright, so save that. Alright, so now back to Godot. Let's see, we should be able to just drag these in. So which one are we on? We have not decided, so let's call this one left arrow, and we'll call this one right arrow. Okay, so right arrow then. Gets this one for normal. Gets this one for hover, gets this one for pressed, and we won't have disabled or focus. We'll probably want to do focused at some point if we want to have keyboard controls, but for now we'll just worry about the mouse. But the focus would be how we know that that's what we're on with the keyboard. And we can do keyboard shortcuts without needing to focus as well. Okay. And now left gets textures. All right, left hover, left pressed, and left arrow normal. Okay, so there we go. And nice, it auto sized them for us and leaves layout. And we're going to do, we want like left center, perfect. And then here we're going to do right center. Clicking or not clicking that when active moving control nodes changes their anchors. Oh, that's interesting. Okay, but we want to do it with margins, so. Okay, and then we're going to move this, and from what I just read, it should mean the margin changes. Nice, look at that. It changes automatically for us. Beautiful. Oh, except how much did I just move that one? Alright, let's see, because we want to be even. Alright, so we're at -2 for right, so I think that's about right. Alright, so we moved it 12, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Alright, good enough. Alright, so let's go ahead and play that then. Select current for main. Alright, look at that. Neato. Oh, except that one's shorter. That's odd. Must be because the glow makes it bigger. That's tricky. Okay, so for now, let's ditch the glow. I'm sure there's a way to finagle that, but I don't want to spend time on that just yet because we probably won't even have them change size or glow in the real one. So we'll just go back to just doing a color overlay. So color overlay, eyedropper the original, we're on lab. We'll make it lighter when we hover, maybe just a smidge. Yeah, like that. Okay. Then copy layer style. Let's hover. Paste layer style. There we go. Alright, save. Alright. And hopefully it readjusted that automatically. So let's play, because it may not have. Okay, it did. Yay. Alright, so far I really love Godot. Alright, neato. Alright, so cool. So now let's code it so those do something. So now what we want them to do basically is like right now we're looking at the blacksmith, and if we hit this, we want it to scroll over to the leathersmith, or to the leather worker. Okay, so let's see. How do we want to code that? So let's add a script. Okay. All right, so let's how do we do that? I think probably what we want to do is we'll probably want to create a custom node for workshop first. So let's go look at Godot. See how we do that. Custom nodes. How to create a custom node. All right, yes you can see custom node docs here. Okay, so to create a new node type. Oh geez, we don't need that highlighting. All right. Custom nodes. Sometimes you want behavior in many nodes, custom scene or control that can be reused. That is what we want. To create a new type, you can use the function add custom types from the editor plugin class. Okay, so we have to create an editor plugin. Okay, which I expect will be creating a lot of plugins. With game development, a lot of times you end up having to create custom tooling because your game needs data and stuff input in certain ways. So, let's go to the latest version of the doc. Okay. Unlike modules, you don't need to create C++ code. Okay, so creating a plugin. Before starting, create a new empty project wherever you want. This will serve as base to develop and test the plugins. First thing you need for the editor to identify a new plugin is to create two files. A plugin config file for configuration and a tool script with functionality. Plugins have standard path. Alright, so for this I don't know if we need to go full-on plugin with custom nodes. That actually sounds like maybe more than one want, or maybe not. Because like in Unity they actually call it prefabs. So let's just Google Godot prefabs. Well, there's kind of two things. Alright, let's see. Here's kind of an explanation. Alright, let's see. Blah, 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 blah. Let's see, prefab. Alright. Okay, so I think scenes are those, but then I wasn't able to actually move the whole scene before, because I thought that was kind of what it wanted us to do. The scene system, for example, thing composed in multiple levels, and in Godot, you would split your whole scene into 3 separate smaller scenes, which you would then instance. Okay, so we were actually doing it right the first time. We just couldn't move them, and that kind of threw me off. So let's go ahead, create. Okay. So workstation. We're just going to do a generic node. Actually, what did they do players root node as? Let's go look. Maybe that was where we messed up. Maybe we didn't need a different node type. Okay. So they made player is an area 2D, which can detect objects that are. See, we don't really need that though. We do just need a generic node. Let's try this again. Okay, so I'm going to name this workstation. Okay, save that. Alright, then we're going to we'll just put the blacksmith in there for now as a sprite. Can't type it like that. Guess I gotta go here. Blacksmith. Okay, so there's the blacksmith. Alright, and now, we'll just save that. Let's go back to workshop. Right, I'm just going to hide all these for a second. We won't delete them just yet. We'll keep those. Alright, so let's add the workstation scene as an instance. Okay. And now... So yeah, so that's the weird... Oh, you know what? Workshop, we have wait. Ungroup, restore, ability to be selected. Wait, is it stuck on? Why can't I turn it off? Ungroup selected. Interesting. I can't toggle that like I could with the other things. Oh wait, is it locked already? No. Yeah, I can see like here I can. Oh, maybe work. Maybe the top level is always locked like that. Yeah, I guess actually. No. What do we do? Hang on. Let's go look at our tree here. So we made player. No, that's how we did it before. Okay. Because, yeah, I can move that there. But I can't move unless. Alright. Godot can't move. On a child scene, maybe? That's an instance. Alright, so that's pretty much what we did. Alright. If you're using then everything else needs to be a child of that, otherwise I'm alright. I really need when I try to instance the enemy scene of the node, I can't remove the enemy without leaving the blah blah blah. That's not actually our problem. Our problem is we can't get it to move at all. Let's see. Pretty sure that. Oh, where we wanted it. Okay, so maybe we can't use a workstation as the root. What if we just do it node 2D maybe? Maybe that's what our problem is. Alright, so let's try adding a blacksmith to that. Okay, rename that. Workstation. Alright, save the workstation. Yes, we will override it. Okay, and then we'll drag workstation onto workshop. There we go. Okay, so we just needed a node 2D instead of a just a generic node. Okay, so now let's go to workstation. Let's add a script to it. Let's rename this to just a generic sprite first. And then let's try adding a script. Okay, that's good. Alright, and now let's do I think it was export var sprite plus export needs a constant expression assigned to infer type. Okay, so Godot GD script. We're just gonna Google that. I know it's saying that basically we need to define a type so it knows what to import. The question is, how do we define that type? Typeless export needs a constant expression. Typeless export needs a constant expression. Okay, so we can just do in parentheses, it looks like. Okay, so let's see. So in this case, we want it to be not a sprite, but a texture. So was it after the var? It's after the exports texture. Okay. So that can happy. There we go. All right, cool. So now I think that should have made it show up in the list here. Yes, nice. All right, so let's get rid of these guys. We don't need those. And then we're going to drag blacksmith here. And we're going to rename this one blacksmith. Actually, let's go ahead. I'm going to create just an empty node to group them with. We're going to call this workstations. I'm going to put blacksmith in there. There we go. Now let's copy, paste there. All right. Now I'll name this leather working. Okay, and now this texture is the leather working. Alright, so now if we go back to our scene, alright, so let's try to move leather working. Oh, so we didn't assign the texture to our sprite, so let's go into there. Okay, so let's just go into ready, func ready, $sprite dot texture equals texture. Okay. Now the question is that going to show up in here? And I think the answer is no. So I'm going to drag this onto here real quick just so we can see what it looks like when we hit play. Yeah, so it works there. It doesn't update in the editor. So let's see. Godot. Find texture of nested scene. So I want a way to be like, go ahead and show this value in here, something like this. Secondary click on the instance on the scene panel. And on the context menu, enable editable children. Okay, that's probably what we want instead. So right click. Where was it? Here. Scene. Alright. Use secondary click on the instance on the scene panel. Oh, on the instance, which would be over here. Click editable children. Okay, so that shows the children. I wonder if there then a way to restrict it. If everything is okay, I should go in reloading. Okay, so let's see. Seems like a better approach indeed. Yeah, which I agree. But doesn't really feel right to run all the code in the editor. The error is probably a non-ID. I'll have to revert to an OS. Okay. And let's see. Godot restrict editable children. I wonder if we can make it so only certain ones don't show up. Yeah, so they have the same concern as I do, but wouldn't remove this coloring. As it indicates that your changes may be lost in the future, we can change it to a warning color instead to make it less scary. I agree. Truth isn't the presentation right? As with the narrative scenes, you have to be extremely careful not to lose your changes. At GD Quest, we very rarely, because of that, it's too easy to change the parent scene or refactor class and introduce with the limitation fixed somehow. Sure. Alright, make the data loss. No, focus on finding out the very least, knowing that the data loss has happened like that. Showing editable children by default. Okay, so they're proposing things, but it doesn't sound like those exist. It sounds like they have the same concern I have. Same. Okay. So I think we'll just go with that for now. Yeah, I would like it if there was a way to kind of restrict it so when we add other things they don't show up. It doesn't sound like we have that yet. So for now, we're just gonna go with this. then let's actually see, can we just delete this? Clear. Because I don't really want any default in there, at least I don't think I do yet. It'd be nice if it gave us that yellow rectangle to warn us that we need to put something in there. Okay, so let's see about blacksmithing. It's blacksmith, leather. Okay. Alright, so that's decent solution, and you know what? Let's do this. We'll make a graphic and we'll just say replace me. And that will be there'll be a reminder to replace it with something. So let's see. Brush. New. Replace me. Exclamation mark. Alright. We're going to put this in a folder called editor. And anything called editor is usually means it's not part of the final game, it's for tools for building the game. So editor replace me.png. Alright. We'll set that as the default graphic, but that way we have something to see over here. But it's also very obvious when we load one in that we won't see that. Okay, so let's hit play. Alright, so that's good. We got that shown now. So I'm going to put you over here now. Alright, and now, and you know what? Actually, let's make this... change type, good. So I'm kind of wondering, because we don't really need a collision area 2D. It'd be nice, though, if we had a way to calculate the width of an element. So, or actually, I guess more we would just center the workshop in the center here. So let's go ahead, let's go to this script now. Script. All right. So, let's see. Ready. Ready. There we go. Pause for a second. So I'll go up here. So we want to get a list of all the workstations that are available currently. So we'll just declare that. And then already we'll do workstations equals get. All right, we need some way to get all of a certain type of thing now. So go dot get children of a certain type. Assign them to a group. Okay. Or actually, in our case, so that would be a good approach, except in our case, I already gave us a thing. So we have workstations here, so we can just have workstations dot children somehow. Get children. There we go. I think that should do it. Okay, so that kind of gives us all of our children. And now we want, so when we hit this button, we're going to move left or move right. And when we do this button, we'll move left. So let's actually do, make one more workstation. And our Photoshop file is starting to get messy, so let's put some folders in here, some groups in here, so we can keep track of things. So UI will be all these guys. And workstations will be these. In the center. And let's actually, inside here, let's do a left arrow and a right arrow to group those further. Right arrow. And then one for editor. Alright, there we go. Alright, and now, actually I want to save that because I want to see, does it rearrange those based on folders? Oh, it does actually. Okay, so let's actually rearrange a couple of things real quick here. We don't need, I forgot it did that. So we're just going to actually name these pressed.png, because it's going to be in the UI left arrow folder. Cover.png, and use go.trace normal.png. Pressed.png. And we could have left them named the other way, but I don't like repeating words. It's I extend the dry mentality to everything. Okay, so there's that. Replace me.png. Okay, and then it's just weather working.png. And now that we changed the file names, we'll need to go rehook these up. See, that doesn't exist anymore. I'm concerned how it knows those are a thing. Huh. Wait, hang on. Oh, never mind. It didn't redo those. Those are just because of what I named them. Wait, and yeah, it put them all down there. Never mind. Undo. Do all those bunches of things it just did. Let's delete those. We do still need the folders. It doesn't put them down. I just previous naming convention confused myself. Alright. Can I Control C to rename those? Okay. It's a shame that it doesn't. Alright. So now, yeah, we're back to normal. Good. Okay. So where were we? Oh yeah, we were making another workstation. Rename workstations. Do artificer. So the artificer in this game is going to make like magic items. So for now, we'll just do like a table with a crystal ball, just because our graphics are so low red or so clunky that we wouldn't be able to tell anything more precise. So crystal balls have little stands or bases, and then the crystal ball. All right, good enough. Okay, save that to make that. Alright, so now let's go ahead. We'll make one more workstation. We'll rename this Artificer. And then we'll replace our little children. We'll do Artificer. Boom. Okay. And now we'll put the artificer over here. We'll kind of start in the middle here. Okay, so what we're going to try to do now, when we click the right arrow, we're going to move right. When we hit the left arrow, we're going to try to move left. We'll make the arrows not there if there's no more left or no more right. So like if we're all the way over here, then we won't see the right arrow. And we'll try to basically center on the sprite. So first let's find out, how do we get the width and height of a sprite? Because we're going to need that. Get, or actually, no, we won't, because all of these, their origin is the middle by default, that little cross. So actually, we can just center on that. So let's go ahead and let's make some clicky, some signals. All right, so when we press that, let's call it that for now. That's good enough. Maybe good enough forever. And left arrow will also do. Okay, and then, all right. So let's see. So let's do var say current workstation. I will export this one. Doesn't recognize that as a type, which is unfortunate. I guess we can call it a scene, maybe? Scene tree. Still red and angry. Export hint isn't a resource type. Okay, let's see. Godot. Variable type for scene. Well, it's exported at the top of main script. Packed scene was what we called it. We did use that actually, didn't we? Okay. Can get code completion, but I suggest to register mob class inside mob GD. Okay, so we can specify class. Okay, so let's try. So we'll go here. Oh, or no, yeah, that's right. Class name. I'm going to assume that's a typo on there. Workstation. Okay, and then we probably still can't use workstation. Oh, we can use workstation there. Yay! Does it? Except it doesn't. Still doesn't like that. So I do still have to use packed scene here. Okay, that made it happy. Now I've got a workshop inspector. Quick load. Okay, so finds a scene. It doesn't find. Yeah, because I don't actually want a new one. I want one of these. Can I just drag one over? No. Alright, so let's try Godot var specify child as value and inspector maybe. Script variables of child scenes and inspector. Is there a way? Oh, that's not what I'm looking for, but that's actually interesting. Never done it, but it looks like it's possible. Okay, that might be something to look into in the future. Function configuration warning string. It's a virtual function. Okay, so that's that whole tool thing, which is the custom editor or plugin thingy. Look into that later. Not quite ready for that yet. How to directly connect set script properly, easy way to get child mode, specific type. Okay, extension methods, that's not really what I want. It's also C#, which we're not using at the moment. About the same as what the other section says. Yeah, so they're kind of talking about it as well. Looking for a way to basically pick one of these and tell it that that's the current one. Unfortunately, it doesn't look like I can. Unless maybe my variable type is just wrong. That's possible too. file node as value inspector. Yeah, I know how to do that. Game scene load, some game scene's going on already. Question isn't there yet, maybe. Okay, so maybe I can't. Who's ready for that yet? Frames aren't ready until all that. Okay, so that's someone correcting them. So that's not true. What I want is can't get a reference. Tools correct. I don't think that's what I want either. So value inside is Alright, well, let's just, for now, maybe if I set it, because it's actually node 2D, isn't it? Did that not work? Export hint isn't a resource type. Okay, so I can't use that. That's not what I want. Scene unique name. What does that do? Access has scene unique name. As unique name. What is that? Scene unique nodes. There are times in projects where a node needs to be called from a script. However, its position on the tree might change over time as adjustments are made to a scene. Oh, that's just a way to get it no matter where it is. Okay. Don't need that. Yeah. You know what? We're just gonna do the first one for now. We'll figure out the rest later. Workstation 0. Alright, and then we'll say go to workstation. Okay. Need to make a function go. Oh, and we are using snake case. Okay. So, let's see. The other didn't cover how to move the camera. Or move area display in 2D. So normally you have a camera, but Godot doesn't really have a camera. So what they might be doing for 2D is we may just move the thing itself. So let's actually call that workstation group, just because I'm using workstation for the other. Actually, we don't even need a variable for that. It's just always workstations. So let's see. So stations dot wonder if it doesn't have a position if we don't make it an area 2D. Let's see, Godot API, so we made it a node 2D. So let's see what values 2D has on it. Global position, okay, it does have a position, it's vector, so we'll do workstation position equals station position. What is that going to do, I wonder? Let's find out. I feel like that's probably backwards. Invalid set position index is value of invalid set index position. Oops, nope. How do I get like the autocomplete help thing? Invalid set index position on base node with value of type vector 2. Oh, you know what? This is a base. This is not a node 2. This is just a regular. So let's make this a node 2D. Okay, let's try that now. Okay. So now let's make a, before we hook up our arrows, actually, I guess we can just do our arrows now. So we'll store our current workstation and the current workstation index. Actually, no, we don't even need current workstation. We'll just always do it by index. 0. Workstation index. Okay. And now we're going to do, so when we do press right, we're going to do current workstation index plus, and then we'll do go to workstation current. Actually, let's just call this go to current because we're always going to read that index anyway. So go to current. Current, we will pass that in. We'll use the current workstation index. Okay, and we'll get rid of that pass now. Alright, go to current. Alright, why are you grumpy at me? Error parsing, misplaced new line. I wonder, do they not have plus in this language? Guess not. No plus, got it. Alright. So current workstation index minus equals 1, go to current, and we're going to slip in some code here to clamp workstation index so that we can't go negative or positive, which shouldn't be possible because we're going to have we're going to have hide the left and right buttons, but just in case, or like we'll probably add shortcuts which may work even if the hides, we just wouldn't want it to do anything. Okay, so let's do that. Let's see what that does now. It blows up, that's what it does. Non-existent function length in base array. Length was how we did it. Editor, script editor, shortcuts. I want to find the keyboard shortcut for showing me like the help stuff because that's usually really useful. If there even is one. General 3D text script. Here we go. Visual script. No, not visual script. Debug. Text editor. Files. Alright, I'm not really seeing anything about IntelliSense or help or anything like that, so it may just not exist. Okay. So let's go look up Godot GD script array. Alright. Methods. Okay. Do they use count? Turns the number of times an element. No, that's counting how many times it's in there. But it should be length. Length doesn't exist though. unless it length is a property, maybe. We don't need the open close parentheses. So this is methods. There are no properties. Is it called size? There it is. Okay, size. All right. So restart. And what's the button for that? 5. F5. All right. So click right. It moved. Didn't exactly move how we wanted. All right. And let's see. Do they have just like console.log or something? Godot script console log. Print variable to console. Hope this helps. Okay, so they just use print. So we'll print the current workstation index. And actually, we should play around with their debug tools in a second. Let's see. So click. All right, so we're at 1, 2, 2, 2, 2 forever. Okay, so it does look like we're getting the right thing. And let's also see, can we print workstations, current workstation index dot position. That's weird. The second one says it's at 0 for position, which shouldn't be right. Alright, let's figure out how to debug. Alright, so how do we debug? Let's render Go.debugging. Debugger, blah, 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 blah. Alright, an overview. I don't want the profiler. I do not want the profiler. I want like inspection. Overview of debugging tools. Many of Godot's debugging tools are part of the debug panel, which is find information. Alright. Alright, so let's see here. Debug. Don't need remote debugging. Maybe it always debugs? Let's find out. So we'll hit play. And then let's see. Editor layout. Debug project. Oh, debug. Keep debugger open. Debug. Okay, so I can set a breakpoint here. So let's hit that. Alright, cool. So we broke. There we go. Okay, debug is down here. Alright, so we see that. Okay, so current workstation 1. Okay. Our current workstation index, yep. Alright, workstations. We have that, which is the blacksmith. That's expected. Okay. How do I go back to our list? Alright, that is that. Okay, that's expected. Okay, and that is artificer. Oh, you know what? It did just dawn on me that it's getting them in order of how they're added here, but we really need them in left to right order. So the position for each of these, where do we see that transform maybe? Yeah. So we're going to want to sort these by their X position. Okay. All right, so let's go sort them first. So we can stop. All right, go back to script. All right, so when we get them, let's see, sort custom. Sure how to do this in GDScript, so let's go look. Array sort custom. Alright. Sort custom. Alright. So, oh, we have to actually, oh no, because we can use self here too. And so it gets, sorts the array using custom method. The arguments are an object that holds the method and the name of such method. The custom method receives two arguments, a pair of elements from the array, and must either return true or false. For two elements A and B, the given method returns true, element B will be after element A in the array. Okay. All right, so make a function. So func sort workstations takes A and B. All right. So and then we'll just return. How do we return? Do we use the return keyword? Yes. Return A dot position dot x. All right. So wait, it was if true B comes after. Okay. So B dot position dot x. All right. So if A is 0 and B is 100, then this is backwards because it would return true, which means B comes after. So we want a greater than. Okay. And then here we should be able to do self and sort workstations. The identifier sort workstations isn't clear. Oh, and it needs to be a string. Okay. All right. So now. So, oh, interesting. The first time we call go to current, our workstations are set to null still. That's curious. I would have expected them to be set, so maybe they do. Wait, so let's see. Go.run code after children are loaded. Child is ready. Alright, ready. Yield get tree.root ready. Oh, neat. Easy enough. If you have auto load scripts when you reload the scene, use that. Alright, I'm not doing that. Alright, so we have to yield until the root is ready, and then we can do the rest. Alright, so restart. Okay. Workstations are still null. Func ready. Yield get tree root was ready. Alright, and 0. Get tree ready if you have auto load. Reload the scene, use that. We don't need that at the moment. Alright. Nodes in a scene are loaded. The parent ready function is called after all children loaded and called the ready function. So you could do this check and oh, you know what? It might actually be that sort doesn't that's it. So sort returns void, which means it mutates and doesn't return it. So we need to make this after the fact. And I think we probably were okay here. So let's restart. Okay, yeah, so it is populated even the first time. Okay, and let's look at it now. So, what's that button do? It does not give me a tooltip is what it does. Alright, so that's the leathersmith. Oh, it looks like we may have sorted these backwards. Okay, go back to that. Blacksmith. Artificer. It's weird that path. Yeah, that's the artificer. Why doesn't that have the texture? Hang on, let's go check that first real quick. Sprite. Should have a texture. That's odd that it doesn't show one. Huh. Okay. That's odd. Alright, anyways. Back to our script. Okay, so yeah, it looks like we sorted them backwards. So let's flip this around. So let's see. So if A, its X position is less than, yeah, that bugs me. All right, so let's do a scratch page. All right, so if A is here, B is here, so that would be like -1 and 0. So if, let's say big, all right, if A less than B, which in this case would be true, we would return true. But it said true means that B would be, oh, never mind, I misread this. After element, okay, that makes sense then. All right, reading the whole sentence helps with comprehension. All right, so now let's check that they're sorted right now. Okay, so this should be the artificer, which texture still shows weird, which bugs me. Oh, you know what? That's actually, we had made this, but we're not using that anymore. So get rid of that. Okay, so that's what that was. Okay, so back here, all right. So we should be good. So artificer, yep. Blacksmith, yep. And leather, yep. All right, perfect. Okay, so now we have the right orders. So now let's see how to position these. So really we want, can I slap negative on that? We kind of want it to move back opposite of, clear the breakpoint. Stop. Go away. Okay. Not really. Okay. So we want center window on fairly new. The game itself run in a non-resizable window. Yeah, don't want that. Position in center of screen, maybe. Find the center of the scene with get viewport rect divide depth size 5x2 for control nodes. Okay, so we could do that. So really what we need to do, so I think their workshop, I think their position should be relative to workstation's position. So if we have a point inside of workstation, we want that point to be centered on the screen. Let's see. So we need both workstation. We have to do the workstation. Let's just go to workstation. Current workstation. Index. Okay. And then, so we need to shift workstation's position so that its position, so workstation starts at 0, 0. So we need its position so that the other position is centered. So let's see. So we can use Scratch. Okay. So we have, so this is the invisible box around workstations itself. We have 3 workstations. And then we have, here's the actual game window. And then on each of the workstations, they have their center. position 1, 2, 3. Each have a center. Visible box here. And it has some position, which I think's right here. Check it out. Yeah, so there's its center right there. Right, yeah. And then, oh, but actually each of, oh, hang on. Well, that's why things were weird, because their centers are not where I thought, because those crosses are their center points. Oh, did we end up dragging just the sprite? I bet you we did. Alright, so let's go ahead, delete these, and we need to redo these, because I think that's where the whole anchor thing comes in. I think we should have used it there, and we did not. Alright, so 1, 2, 3. Let's lock it. Is that locked? Alright, ungroup, restore. Alright, so that should mean now, let's set the workstation's origin to the center. How do we do that? Transform. Maybe we don't. Godot, change pivot point of scene. I think that only works on sprites. You can change another node as a pivot in the case you're working. Okay, so it doesn't look like we can, but what we can do then, basically center the sprite on the middle here. So we should be able to just set this to 0, 0. Okay. Now good. So those guys moved. That's what we wanted. Lock the children for each of these. Okay, and now we'll do blacksmith, leatherworking, artificer. Okay, you know, it's been bugging me because 2 of them are like the job, and then that one's the like practice of. So we'll call it leatherworker, just so they all match. Okay. And then can we select multi? Yeah. Yes, but we can't change the value I care about, which is that one. Okay. And now we replace these. So blacksmith, leatherworking, artificer. All right. And now we rearrange these. Okay, nice. The cross is right in the middle, which is how we want it. Artificer over there. Leatherworker over here. Okay. There we go. So that should help, because we were assuming those points were there when they weren't, and that's kind of why we were getting weird things. All right, and now let's actually just try going back. Let's actually see what happens when we do this. I think now it's going to kind of work, but also kind of be wrong on the Y. Hang on. Station.position. Oh, no, leave that position. Get rid of that. Okay. Yeah. So now we adjust this by, I'll have to do a new vector 2D because I'll have to do it each part. Let's see, minus get viewport dot, or was it get viewport size? That one go. Get viewport rect dot size. Oh, size is size is probably a vector 2. Position.y minus get viewport rect.size.y divided by 2. Method. Get viewport rect isn't declared in the current. Get viewport rect. No. Get viewport rect isn't declared in the current class. Okay. Go.get viewport rect isn't declared in the current class. Thought that would just be a global, but apparently it's not. Right, let's just try this then. Viewport creates a different view into the scene or subview chosen to be narrative display on option layer viewport can. Oh, you know what? Can we move? Does viewport have its own position? We could maybe just move its position, but it does not look like it is a position. So yeah, so we do need to move stuff inside like we're trying. Size override. Get camera, find. Okay, I don't see any of those. But get viewport rect. See, here they use it again. In this case, viewport.get visible rect and get size are the same thing. This returns the size, and if the viewport has a size override, get viewport. See, that doesn't work for some reason. Oh, we didn't do this 2D thing. Maybe that's part of it. Where did we do that? Project settings? And then it was in general, or no, it was in window. And it was in the stretch mode thing, 2D. Aspect. We'll do ignore. See if that makes get viewport rect available. Nope, it does not exist in the current class. Okay. Turns a rect to object with dimension global to get the networks. I don't know why it doesn't for us. It's a little odd. Size. Okay, apparently there's some magic to do that and we haven't done it, so maybe we can just use get viewport dot get rect visible rect dot size. Interesting. I wonder which magic thing makes it available to us. Unable to write? No, I think I just hit Control S too fast. Oh, nope. That's not good. Somehow it locked itself. That's not a good error. Alright, so I'm going to copy all that. We're going to close Godot. Somehow something, I think I hit Control S 2 times quickly and it locked it and then didn't unlock it because I hit it twice and it kind of errored, so that's not great. Oh, but it did save, so we're okay. Alright. Boom, boom. There we go. It kind of works. It's off-center a bit. Is that, though, because I left it off-center? Let's find out. Oh, you know what? Because... Nope, I didn't want to... Oh, I guess it kind of is. Different textures are going to be different sizes, and if it doesn't anchor it to the middle, then they're going to end up shifted. I don't know. Those look pretty centered, so they should, because we should be centering the window on this plus sign here. So play it again. Oh, and actually, our arrow's backwards. Let's fix that real quick. Okay, so on right arrow. So on right, no, that's right. Okay, so I don't think we're setting. I think this may have been a it works by coincidence case, and I don't think our math is actually right. All right, so let's go back to the script. Try negative maybe. No, that doesn't work. All right, let's do actual math and figure this out. Okay, so let's see. So, oh, you know what? We do need. We're going to need this guy's pivot also in the middle. So really, we have to move this guy to the center. And unfortunately, there's no thing to do that. So I think we should make this an area 2, maybe. I think that might make life easier for a couple things. Area 2D, even though we don't actually need collision, because I think, or no, it should just be a canvas, one of the canvas element things. Those were the ones with the ability to dock and stuff. Or what is button under? Button's under control. It's not a control. Let's see if canvas has the ability to dock. Okay. No. Is it only controls that have that ability? Maybe we can't select canvas elements. No, 2D is a canvas item, which is what we were using before. But see, we want anchor and stuff, really, is what we're after. Maybe. Maybe not, actually. Not if we're positioning it. Let's go back to 2D, I think. And see if it's not centered. Well, let's see, how do we do this? So if we can solve this with math, I guess. All right, so if we have our blacksmith is there, so that's some value, which this is the difference between here to here and here to here. Okay. So if we want this centered, we get its position, and then we need, so the width of our screen, so this is the width of our screen, so half would be the middle, and then height, half would be the middle. So if we want it here, we need to set this guy equal to, we need to basically subtract this position X and Y from it. And that would get this centered. And then that would get this position here. So really we need that divided by 2 minus our position X, which actually, is that what we did? Let's see. So these may have just been flipped around, actually. There we go. That's all it was. Nice. So now they can move left and right, or so we can change. Now what would be nice, though, is instead of bouncing, it'd be nice if we could slide across. Because, like, the real scene, we're going to have, like, all those, and we're going to have, like, a nice background to make it look like they're all, like, in a building. So it'd be nice if instead of pop, 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 we get it to slide across. So that's usually called tweening, which is in between. So let's see if Godot has anything built in for that. Okay, interpolate. Okay, so we can create a tween. Okay, so interpolate property. So rect position X. Okay, here's an example of tweening. The only trick is knowing the syntax of accessing a single component of the X. So, okay. Alright, so let's go look at Go.tween. See, and that's another thing I was talking about earlier about how, like, you know, you learn something programming, then it's kind of the same. Just because I knew what the term tween was from working in ActionScript. Whoop, knocked my drink down. I'm getting too excited. Just because I know what the term tween was from back when I worked with ActionScript, that same term happens to also be what's used here. So Googling Godot and the term I was looking for, I happened to find exactly what I wanted. So that's what's awesome. The more you kind of know in one language, the easier it is to pick up new things. So sorry, I'm cleaning up the little spill I made from knocking down my drink for the second time today. Alright, just throw this away. Alright. Okay, so let's look at tween. So, let's go to the top. Alright, tween blah blah blah. Okay, so we're feeding in a bunch of values. So let's go look what those values are. Where is like the constructor definition? Enumeration, properties. Alright, I don't actually see the declaration of it. Get node tween. Okay, so here they're using a node to do it. For animations where you don't know the final values in advance. For example, okay. So I guess maybe we just add between two workstations. So let's actually, so we need, because we're using the get children bit on workstations, we need to keep just the workstations themselves as direct children of that. So we're going to create a, actually, you know what though, now that I think about it, because we're going to pull this workshop into our main, we may actually, instead of being moving workstations, we may want to be moving workshop, the whole workshop together. Can we do self-stop? Which I don't even know if we are allowed to do, but let's find out. Alright, node, okay, so I think we need to make this a 2D node. Node 2D, alright. Let's try. Okay, so it kind of worked, although our arrows kind of went nuts. So, okay, actually, so our workstation putting it all together, so let's not do that. Let's not move. Yeah. Not move the whole workstation because we want the UI for it to also be on top, I think. So we may split it later, but I think for now we'll just do the one, and we'll do, we will nest this down further. So let's add, add a child, do a node 2D. Alright, we'll name this, let's name it workshop. It's a little weird, workshop inside workshop, but it'll be okay, and then that'll be workstations. Okay. And then we do have to change our script though, because this is now down one. We have to do workshop workstations. Oh, so they used get node before, but it looks like that works too. In theory, we haven't tried it yet. All right, and then back here, we'll also do the same thing. Workshop workstations. Okay, let's make sure it works again. All right, cool. And we can get rid of this print. Okay. So now let's go. Okay, so let's do the tween then. So let's now on the workshop, we'll add a tween. Okay. And we'll call this change workshop tween. It's a little long, but it'll be fine. Okay, so we won't repeat. You know what? Is there a way to do that just to create one on the fly? How did they do theirs? They just made a new one. Let's just make a new one. I think it's because we don't know any of the properties of the tween at that point. Yeah, it'll be a little weird. So let's do. So let's make a variable for it because we may need to abort the tween or adjust it. So we'll just make a variable for it, and then we'll do. So we add the tween. Okay, so let's see here. Actually, you know what? We will, because I guess we changed those values at one time anyway. So we will add one because we just want one. Because like if we like hit the button twice, we want it to like tween faster to the new one. So let's add a node. We'll add a tween. All right. We'll do change workstation tween. Okay, and I guess we won't set any variables to it, and we'll just grab it here and tuck in that variable for now. Equals, or no, we don't need to do that because the fancy shortcut thing means it's easy to get a hold of. Okay, so instead of setting the position then, so we'll comment this out for now. Or actually, we can say this is the destination position. Or new position. So that's where we're going to. Okay, and so now, let's see. So, oh, okay, so we don't need the constructor because it's on interpolate property. All right, interpolate property. Okay. So, animates property of object from initial value to final value for duration seconds. Delay seconds later. Setting the initial value to null uses the current value of the property. So we'll set it to null, so that's good to know. Okay, so the object we're changing, so tween dot in. Oh, right. We didn't make the tween variable. Change workstation tween dot interpolate property. All right, the object we're changing is workshop.workstation, or no, is just workshop. Yes, okay. And then the property, and this was where they had that trick there for us. Although in our case, I think it's just, or no, actually, we're going to tween both ways, because what we want to is like if and we'll actually go change that. So like, we'll put this down here and this down here, kind of, so it's not so flat filling. So like, we'd have a background in there to make it all kind of look right. So we want to tween between them, and we'd have a background that kind of fills in this. In fact, let's go ahead, we'll throw in onto workshop, we'll go ahead and throw in a color rectangle temporarily as a background. We'll we would swap this out for a real, image later, but for now, color background will work well. And let's go kind of like a brown. It'll be kind of like wood, because I think the building will be made of like wood and stone probably. Okay, so that should be good. And then zoom out. And so this will basically wrap up everything with some padding. So we never see like nothing, basically. And then we just drag it up here so it's behind. There we go. Okay, so back to the script. Save that. Back to the script. Okay. So the property is position. Okay, the initial value, we can do null to use the start. Then new position. And let's try 0.5 maybe? Oh, it got grumpy. Expression. Okay. Yeah, give me my autocomplete. How do I get that to show up on demand? Not Shift Enter, not Control Enter. Shortcut to show autocomplete. Or not even autocomplete, to show script help maybe. Don't want to watch a video. If we right click, does it? Oh well, we'll figure that out later. Okay, so we got final value. All right, duration, transition type. All right, so duration, transition type, which looked like that was an enum. Okay, so we'll do oh, I see. They have transition and ease as separate values. Do we pass both of them? Yeah. Okay. So we'll just do a linear then for transition. Transition. Oh, maybe it's tween.transition. Oh, I see. The enums are just straight on it. Okay. So we'll do linear. And we could have just put 0, but I prefer to use these. Oh, nice. It does kind of know which one. Well, it did. Okay, there. And I like easing out. That means it's going to kind of start slow and speed up kind of in the middle and then slow back down as it gets to the end. Okay, and delay, which is 0. And it looks like we have defaults to that, so that's good. Oh, and it defaults these two, 0 and 2. Is 2 easing out? Probably has the, yeah. So it actually has the defaults on it. So we'll take that off. Let's leave it like that. All right, it's grumpy. It's not grumpy. Good. Okay. So let's see what happens. Hopefully it knows how to tween a vector. Oh, we lost our arrows. Where'd our arrows go? Background. Oh, let's see. So we'll need a back workshop up here. There we go. Okay. Oh, we have to call start, I believe. Tween.start. Oh, and it's not tween in our case. It's workshop change. There we go. Nice. That's exactly what we wanted. I love when things are easy like that. Perfect. Cool. So it's a little fast, but we'll leave it like that. And then also, I wanted to test, so I'm going to just kind of create a bunch of blacksmiths that we're only going to leave for a second. But, no. Because I want to see if I click it multiple times, will it get to that new one faster? Because that's what we want. All right. I'm not going to worry about resizing backgrounds since these are temporary. Zoom out more. It's like, what are you doing? Because what should hopefully happen is if I click it like once, it'll move to that in 0.5 seconds. But if I hit it like 5 times, I want it to move to that in like 0.5 seconds. So let's go see what happens. Okay. All right. So play. All right. So perfect. Exactly what we want. Nice. Okay. So we can get rid of these extras, and then we will fix where it's starting out, going to tweening to artificer right away. We want it to just straight up start there. So let's make a similar function, or let's see. We could either make a similar function called like jump to current, or we could have we'll just make it either tween or jump. That way we don't have to duplicate this code. So let's say if tween then we will do this, elif, we will do workshop.position equals new position. Stop being angry. Oh, do I not need a colon for elif? Oh, just else, not elif. We don't have another if there. Okay. All right, so let's see. So now when we load up, we should just be looking at the artifacer with no jumping. It's still too... Oh, we have to set this to false. Oops. So by default, when we use that, it'll use tween. When we specify false, it won't. Perfect. Okay, and now let's hide our arrows based on what our index is. So we'll do go to current, so we can do it in here. So after we've clamped it, we'll do left arrow dot visible equals current workstation index greater than 0. So if we're at 0, we want it to be false. If we're greater, we'll not, or it'll be true and we'll show it. Okay, and this will be workstation index is less than workstations dot size -1. Okay, nice, and there we go. It showed up. Perfect. All right, I am definitely a fan of Godot already. I love this. Okay. So now, let's see. I had another thought, and I totally lost it when I fell in love with Godot just a second ago. Actually, I guess there was no other thing there. Okay. So that was cool. So I was playing around with some UI stuff, or some stuff just for funsies. All right. All right. So I think that's a good place to call it a night. Next time I work on this, I'm gonna dive into creating some custom tooling. So like I mentioned, there's a whole bunch of items and recipes and staff and all kinds of data that we need input. So I want to dive into Godot's like custom editor building stuff to build some tooling so I can easily get that data input in an easy, nice to use way. So that'll be the next focus of when we do this kind of stream. All right, so thanks for joining me, everyone. If you like this, be sure to follow on Twitch. You'll be able to catch the recent stream on Twitch for a while. It'll also be uploaded to YouTube, so you can hop over to YouTube and check it out there. Don't autoplay. Okay, it's muted. If you scroll down on the page, you can find links. If you have any questions, hop over to Discord. It's a great place to chat. You can follow me on Twitter. I usually still working on trying to come up with a schedule. If you follow me on Twitter, though, I usually announce when I'm going to stream ahead of time. And you can also subscribe on YouTube to see when I upload new videos. And yeah, and of course, you can check out any code I've uploaded on GitHub. So thanks for joining me, guys. I'll see you next time.